Dissociative identity disorder is a real mental health condition that can stem from long-term childhood abuse, in which a part of you will split off into another in order to hold traumatic memories that are too much for one person to hold. At the same time, DID is one of the most faked disorders on the internet. Today we're going to be sharing some brave stories of people who have fake disorders in the past and are owning up to it. I mean no harm to anyone who actually has the disorder, nor will I ever know how much this online trend hurts. I feel so awful for my behavior in the past, and I wish that I could show the community how genuinely sorry I am for faking the illness and making it into a fun game. I have a hard time talking about this still, and I'm trying to remember everything correctly, so please bear with me through typos and such. I won't go into much detail, but I will answer anything in the comments if need be. I don't want people to feel sorry for me, but I genuinely want to share what happened, what I was thinking, and how it went. It all started with a TV show. I think it was the end of 2015. I was in 6th grade and I got into Total Drama All-Stars. There was a character in the show named Mike who had a poorly written illness called multiple personality disorder. It was a piss-poor representation of the disorder anyway. I mean, it was a kid's show. It showed people living in this guy's heads, all with their own distinct personas. I was so mind blown by the disorder that I did all and every sort of research. I read almost every single article imaginable and even got my hands on one of those YouTube documentaries. I got so into it that I genuinely wanted to have the disorder. Now, I may word this wrong, but at that age, I didn't realize that it was so harmful to the people who had it. I didn't know the disorder because I literally did not, had not, and never will have it. You can't truly understand an illness unless you have it yourself. I was 12 and very impressionable, and I thought that having people live in my head would make me stand out from others. I thought that it would make me more likable. I also had something going on where when I got into a really good game or TV show, I would imagine the characters talking to each other, being in a place and interacting or whatever it is that they do constantly for hours on end. And that's how I thought that communication between alters worked. I had just moved to a new school and wasn't getting attention at home, and I wanted to seem cool to my new friends. My behavior quickly turned my former friend into an also faker, and then later using her alters to abuse me and my friends, gaslighting, hitting, and even SA. While all this was happening, the teachers were also harassing me because they saw the SA and tried to blame it on me for being gay. Eventually, I broke down to my mother and the school board got involved. I didn't tell her anything about us faking, only that my teachers and my friend were harassing me. But to be honest, I don't think she knew what I was doing. We were 12 and 13 years old. Over the years though, obviously, she never realized what she did whilst faking it, and I don't think she ever will. She still fakes having DID to this day, and we're both graduated now. I faked it for about 3 years after that. Everyone I told about my illness over the years magically had it shortly after I told them, and I could name almost 10 people who were directly influenced from my behavior. Only a few I know still keep up the act and pretend to have it to this day. What I thought was fun with my friends turned into some type of competition between my online friend groups, as they obviously faked as well and frequently got into fights over it. It was all about who had it the worst, who got the most attention and sympathy, who had more alters, who even had the worst traumas that may have caused the alleged alters in the first place. Many couples who were in the group used the alters as an excuse to cheat in their relationship. My boyfriend at the time even cheated on me. It was a giant traumatizing mess for all of us. It was a little bit after that I moved to a completely different place and started high school. That was when I realized what I was doing was completely effed up. I regret everything from 6th grade up to the beginning of 9th grade. I can't take back what I did or what they did, and I can't change what happened. I have depression, anxiety, panic attacks, memory problems, and I'm pretty positive about PTSD and maladaptive daydreaming disorder. All because I decided to fake. This is what I'm stuck with because I wanted attention. I can't talk to anyone who uses the term DID on themselves because I'll have a breakdown and relive everything that happened. And now I can't tell whether they're on the trend or if they're legit. I don't want to be scared of people who genuinely have it and make them feel even worse about their illness. I haven't gone to a therapist because I live in the US and can't afford it right now. Every day I regret all of those who I hurt, all of the drama I caused, and every act that I committed. This past eats at me so much from the inside, and I'm absolutely terrified that people will find me and do horrible things to me over this. I'm so sorry to the people who have to sit and watch this go on as a trend while they deal with the real thing themselves. I don't wish this shit on anyone. It's the worst to see these kids play pretend thinking that it's all fun and games when they don't know the consequences for their actions. I think that it's really brave of this person to come out and admit to faking it. It's understandable to feel bad, but you also have to remember that you were 11, 12, 13, 14 years old. You were a kid, and kids can be kids sometimes. What truly matters is how you act now and in the future. I faked multiple disorders in the past. I used to fake Tourette's and DID, and many more, but some of them I genuinely think that I have, and it would be just too hard to list them. I was 10 when I first stumbled across this phenomenon. Like many others, I started faking during COVID. First, it was DID. I had stumbled upon Anthony Padilla's I Spent a Day with Multiple Personalities video. After that, I started Googling it and learned a bunch about it. I watched like all of Dissociative's videos and other DID tuber called Multiplicity in Me, and I'm sure there's a lot more. I also just joined a few OSDD and DID Discord servers. Even to this day, one of them is still my quote-unquote system account. I had just a few quote-unquote alters. Well, first, the alters started as imaginary friends when I was 9. I had 3 at first, 2 mind-made alters and 1 factive alter. I also made a plural kit, and I think I still have it. Over a time, I got more and more alters, and sometimes I would even forget their roles and stuff. And about the trauma, I was bullied when I was younger, but it wasn't truly that bad. Whenever I would tell people, they would say, everybody handles trauma differently, or you're still valid, or maybe you're an endogenic system. I didn't have DID, and a little part of me always knew that, but everyone always validating me just drowned that out, and I almost fully believed that I had DID. I started to lose friends, and I was distant from my family. I was always hunched over my computer on Discord. It wasn't good. I started to look into more disorders like Tourette's or dyslexia and autism, and I started to self-diagnose myself with more and more disorders. I stumbled upon a website called Exceptional Individuals, and they have a lot of information about different disorders, and they also had different tests. According to the test, I had pretty much every single disorder out there. That was a hyperbole, but I still feel like it. I was relatively smart as a kid. I was in the gifted program even, and why I thought it was a good idea to fake these disorders, I have no idea. I even faked dyslexia for a while, but my mother brought me out of that mentality. At this point, I had come out to my friends as a quote-unquote DID system, and they beloved me. I would quote-unquote switch in front of them, and they didn't ask a single question. I recently found my diary from around that time, 4th grade, and it was sad. The servers I was on were not helpful. Every time I would doubt my DID, they would tell me, if you're faking it, then why do you question it? Fakers know they're faking. Every time they said this, it would be doing irreversible damage to the way that I think. I can't go a day anymore without doing something and thinking, oh, that's a symptom of insert disorder here. Or, oh my god, I think I have insert disorder here. It's kind of scary what has happened to this generation. I had also faked Tourette's. I didn't do it for as long or severely as I did DID, but I still did. I would randomly tick or say something sometimes inappropriate and say it was uncontrollable and that I didn't know what came over me. It was all a lie. And sometimes I still quote-unquote tick to this day. I have a friend with real Tourette's, and I feel bad for doing all of this. And back to the DID, at one point I had convinced one of my friends into thinking that they had it too. I am ashamed of what I did, and I'm truly, truly sorry. It has affected my everyday life. I think about it every day, and sometimes it's a struggle for me not to get back into the habit habit of faking. It's like an addiction. Some other people who come out about this say the same thing, but it's the truth. It's like an addiction. Sometimes I do go back into faking. Every once in a while, I go back to a website and take the tests again. Sometimes I get on my active system account. Sometimes I feel like I do have these disorders and it's hard for me to get back out of this mentality again. And after what I've done, I'm so sorry for the people who actually have these disorders. I know that there is something wrong with me, but it's not this. I finally ended up realizing that I didn't have these after about 2 years of faking. But the damage had already been done, and once again, I'm so sorry. I faked serious mental illnesses, and I could have done serious damage to the community. It's hard for me to rid the feeling that I still have alters or tics or anything else. It will stick with me forever. And to anyone who is faking or feels like they have a disorder, at least do your research and don't fake. Talk to your parents or friends or something if you really do believe you have a disorder, and see if you showed signs as a kid. Maybe distance yourself from social media for a week, and don't jump to conclusions like I did. It will affect your future. You can't erase what you say on the internet. Always keep that in mind. I think it's really brave of these people to admit to such things. I'm sure that it can be very shameful, but the reality is that most of us in our childhood or teenagehood did things that we regret, and as long as they're not repeated, they don't become bad habits. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, turn the bell on if you're feeling risky, comment below any opinions you have. I definitely have thought that I had certain disorders in the past. I will put my hand up for saying that I thought that I had DID because I have like symptoms of dissociation, etc. However, that is very much far from the truth now. Thank you so much for watching this video as always, and goodbye.